Alright, so today I'm replacing the front struts on a 2021 Toyota Sienna. I looked online myself and couldn't find any videos on how to do it on anything after 3rd gen, so I decided I would take one myself. I already did the left side here, or passenger side, and after deciding it wasn't that bad, I figured I could record a video while I do it. So the first thing I did was replace or remove the windshield wiper arms. This cap right here was able to just pull off by hand. One nut for each, and then just wiggled them off. Didn't need any kind of puller or anything. Next was these. I've got the wrong side here, which went right up about right here or so. I pulled those off so I could get to the corner of this cowl. This cowl is up here, and after removing those corner pieces and getting it free from right here, it's kind of threaded through this seal, so I had to peel it out of the seal. After peeling it out of the seal and getting that out of the way, there are 10mm bolts all over this lower cowl that hold it down. There's 2 little arms that support it on each side. Probably 10 or 15 of these bolts, and on the arms it's just these little nuts, also 10mm. And after removing all those bolts, I didn't remove this completely. I didn't unwire anything here. I just lifted this to the side. I'm gonna have to pause this. So after removing all the bolts, this lower cowl is able to just lift up. Alright, now I've got that out of the way. I can access the bolts for my actual strut. Now, this guy here is just what this cowl bolts to. Now, I will say with the bolts on this cowl, a couple of them were kind of weird. I had to get little extensions and get angles going to get to them. Notice on this one, I actually forgot to put the bracket back on. I'm going to have to come back and do that. The jack point, it's pretty clear cut. This is where I lifted, right down here. There's a spot free from the plastics. Just a nice part of the frame there. Now normally, I would buy a quick strut. I would not mess with these springs, but I could not find quick struts for any 3rd gen at all. That's why I'm using the spring compressor. I've already got the nuts broke loose on the tire, so I'm going to go ahead and jack up and lift the tire off and then continue the video. Alright, we're in the wheel well. We've got 22 on the main bolts, which I don't have a 22, so 7/8 is going to have to be the wrench. 14 for the brake line and sensor wire. here on this bolt. And then I've got a 17 millimeter and a 6 millimeter Allen socket for right here. Now the first time I did this, I went and watched a video from a second gen, and they started with taking off the axle nut. I tried to do that. I spent quite a while messing with it. Folded the divot back out, and then went back to watching some videos and reading the comments and whatnot, and most people seem to agree that that's not necessary, at least on the second gen. I left mine on. I did not take the axle nut off. I took all what I just showed you off. I took off the sway bar end length, and then I moved to the top. I did not undo the axle nut. And I've got a block. Can you see the block? I've got a block down here to keep my hub from sitting down too far. I just set the hub on that after I took the strut off. It's got kind of a tab there to hold it in place. Almost forgot. Also, on the side of the strut, the sensor wire has a plastic clip. I just got a screwdriver in here and popped that right out. It didn't damage it on the first one, so let's hope for the best on the second one. Popped right out. Should put some lube on that. Okay, I run it back on a bit and put a little bit of lube on that bolt. It's not extremely rusty, but it's dry and ready. It's an awful lot better this time. Okay. These nuts were the only actual hard part, I'd say. I think I had to get my breaker bar for these. nut's twisting on me. Let's see if I can pin it in place. See if I can go ahead and get the bottom one loose. On the first one, I was able to break it loose before I had to turn the back side. These ones aren't splined. The only other vehicle I've done this for on, the bolts were splined. These are not. Okay, let me think this through. Here we go. Alright, that one's broken loose. That's unfortunate. There we go. Going for the bolt instead of the nut seems to work quite a bit better.
There you are. Yeah.
Neighbor just started mowing, so I'll probably have to do a voiceover now. I guess I'll just keep it recording. I don't want this to come out before I'm ready. I have a brass hammer, so I'm going to use it. It's really not putting up a fight though. So, over here. There's one. Give it a little wiggle. And there's two. Just gently lower her down to my block. Right where I want it. Now this 14 is also going to be needed up here. Let's see how we're looking. I think I've got one more extension. Now the two struts obviously have certain sides they go to. And the only other thing I noticed that I believe is directional, I'll show you after I take this off. Might need an extension for that one. It's a little tighter on this side just because the cowl is kind of in my way. And not bad. Now that this guard is out of the way, I believe this is directional. With it out, and I'll show a better picture, if you have it around the other way, it's not going to sit level like it is. And they're not super heavy. I mean, it's there, but nothing that I needed to get help for. Probably see in the video the studs starting to lower down as I loosen up. So I'm going to have to reach underneath to catch it as it falls. And here we go. I'm gonna get my vise set up and I'll show you how I was doing this. Now again, the only reason I'm doing this is because I could not find quick struts for 2021. Now, I had trouble here in that this cowl is so wide that as I put them on, couldn't get them exactly where I wanted them. Because from here, I'd have room to turn the nut, right? If it was down here. But the shaft wouldn't have room to move. Coming this way. This one kind of sucks. Pretty green. Get on here. For anyone doing this at home, I would really recommend taking them up to a local tire shop and see what they charge to go ahead and swap the coil spring over to the new strut. Of course, maybe someone else could find where they sell a quick strut. I did not have good luck on that. I'm gonna try and crank these down a little tighter. It didn't really pop up any. Never swapped it off. The first one I did popped off the bottom here very easily. Here's my one bomb right down here. Switch this over with it. Guess that doesn't matter. This was a 19mm, by the way. Ran off with a impact. This one's not as bad as the passenger side was. I'll demonstrate. Obviously, I'm not going to swap just one of them, but the passenger side was just terrible. This is the driver's side. That's not that bad. Not nearly as bad as that one. Funky angle here. Oh goodness. I suppose I should add in that driver's side is L. Passenger side is R. Guessing right left goes off of where it would be when you're sitting in the driver's seat. Oh, almost forgot. Rubber band. This one swaps over as well. It's got a tab. Here's a slightly smaller spot right here, which goes right there. And it doesn't feel perfect. You can definitely tell it's aged a bit. This one found its home a lot easier than the first one I did. I suppose that has something to do with it not being in such bad shape. Oh, speaker there. Does have a specific place it goes. The end of this coil lines up with that tab where the rubber ends. I'm actually going to have to reference back on my own video. Now the top of the plate has a bit of a slot. I actually had to line it up and then turn to get my cut where I want it. It's not exactly perfect, but you can turn that a bit, even when it's in place. For this part, it's going to be tough to crank these down much more just because of how it is. But I can press with two hands and get thread showing. Go ahead and throw this 19mm nut on and just crank it down with the impact. For this part, I had a helping hand.
What's that?
So basically, I press down here to get it the rest of the way to show the threads. And have my helper start the bolt. So that would definitely be easier with the second person. I'm sure you could figure it out or crank it down farther if you didn't have that. But I did. For this part, it did try to spin a bit as I was cranking it, so I was just holding it in place. So that is, not counting the top little cut, I have 1, 2, just barely a third thread showing. So that should be fully seated. Now I'll take all this spring compressors off. Alright, I got the second two off.